Okay, thank you everyone for joining us for the Marketing and Advertising Snap at Farmers Markets. Just a quick, my name is Jackie Higgins. I am one of the team members for FNS Snap Farmers Markets. Our agenda, we are going to go through kind of a quick welcome and potentially some announcements, as well as going through an overview of marketing and advertising, and then we will be introducing you to our wonderful speakers, Kelly Warnock from Durham County Department of Health, and Danielle Hamilton, who is from Fresh Approach in California. They both are wonderful and have great experiences with marketing and advertising Snap at farmers markets. So please remember that this is being recorded, and we will go ahead and move on. So when we talk about marketing, we're mainly talking about identifying an audience that is likely to, the definition is to buy services, products, and then promote these to that specific audience. So it's really all about identifying the specific audience and kind of changing your message to meet that audience and going through certain activities that will go to that primary audience instead of kind of the mass marketing that you may kind of hear and know about. So promotional messages and advertisements are sent to those primary audiences instead of the mass marketing without regard to that specific characteristics. So this is mainly called targeted marketing, which is what, especially for Snap at farmers markets, for direct marketing farmers, is extremely important. Is you need, obviously your audience will be Snap clients, and so you really have to identify who are those people and I'm sorry, we are having one technical issue about people not hearing sound. So I'm going to stop for one moment. Okay, so just a quick test to see if people can hear us at all. Try to see. Okay, so some people can hear fine and some people are having some issues. I will be sending out these slides. It could just be that I am extremely far away from any mic, so I will move closer. Okay, some people are saying that they can hear us, so we're just gonna kind of keep moving through, and all of this will be sent out after the webinar. So keeping on. Targeted marketing is the best thing that we can use for Snap at farmers markets. Targeting marketing is identifying that audience that is likely to use Snap dollars at a farmer's market. So you're looking for Snap clients, and you need to promote your messages and your advertisements. There could be flyers, social media for that specific audience. Some examples, so you hear terms such as like traditional marketing and non-traditional marketing. Traditional marketing such as direct mail, it's like sending out something through the mail, talking about maybe taking advertisements for the media, from newspapers, television, radio, face-to-face, talking to someone about what it is that you're trying to do, talking about SNAP and using benefits at a farmer's market. And then you have more kind of non-traditional marketing, such as email, making sure any website that you have is SEO, search engine optimized. So just making sure you have certain keywords that are a part of your website, using links to kind of build your kind of online credit so that when people search for, farmers markets in Northern Virginia, that maybe yours will come up before someone else's. And all of this is through various forms of media, and so using social media to kind of create those links, sharing stories. We've heard recently about a market and a region that kind of used I want to say it was a Facebook video or a YouTube video that talked about how you can, just doing a video on how you can use SNAP benefits at their market. And it went through kind of the step-by-step. So you can create things like that, sharing it on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter. So it'll be shared around to multiple different people in different venues. And so the more people that can see your message, the more likely you are to meet that audience as well. And so this kind of leads on to who can you partner with to make some of these marketing techniques work in the most cost-effective way. So this could be such as, looking at partnering with universities or high schools and seeing if maybe you're not the most tech-savvy person or social media savvy person. Young adults are extremely social media savvy. So maybe seeing if you can start like an intern program at your market to bring in, say, a communications major at a local university to run your social media, to create a social media plan for you, and kind of go from there. You'll give them great experience, and you'll get something, and you'll get a social media plan out of it. So different ways to think of that. And then also looking at your local media, such as newspapers, television, radios. Our next slide is a video from Chicago, one of the markets in Chicago. And so we're going to play that, and it's just a 30-second clip advertising SNAP at markets and being able to use that.
Buying locally grown seasonal produce is a SNAP. People all over Illinois use their link cards to buy fresh and healthy foods at their local farmers markets.
I bought all this with my link card.
Link dollars may be spent on any SNAP-eligible foods.
It's a SNAP.
Visit linkupil.org to find farmers markets near you accepting Illinois link cards. Sponsored by Link Up Illinois and supported by the United States Department of Agriculture.
Great. So that's one example of a way of a commercial that you can have air on your local media channels. And then this slide is probably, to me, one that might be extremely helpful for you. These are different resources that either I've used in the past when I think about marketing and advertising, or that I've received from other people. So the first is Social Media Today, which is just a website and organization that pretty much just publishes a lot of information about using social media and different best practices, things like that. HubSpot, it's not supposed to be HubSport, I'm sorry, that's a typo, is the same thing, and it's mainly geared towards marketing. Most of these are centered around more corporations, but you can adapt them to more of a nonprofit setting. ASAP is an organization that works with farmers markets, and so this is a link to different ways to market farmers markets. Taproot Foundation is a organization that offers pro bono services to nonprofits and kind of social good organizations to build capacity and kind of long-term needs. So if you have a project, you could potentially look at Taproot to see if you are eligible for any of their pro bono services. Media Bistro, Udemy, and Udemy are both training websites. They're just that you can go on there, especially on Black Friday. I highly suggest this. And look at the courses that are available. Black Friday, it's super cheap. And it's just take an hour out of your day and potentially learn a new skill. Idealist is a website that you can post volunteer opportunities. I myself, as a fairly young professional, go on Idealist a lot to find volunteer opportunities in my community, and I search through it based on skill, such as social media, or I want more PR experience, or I want to tutor children. Anything and everything is on Idealist. And then the Ecology Center this is an online toolkit that's centered around EBT that we also think would be a great resource for everyone. So overall, when you think about advertising and marketing, you really have to think about your audience and think about how do they process advertisements? Where do they go to find information on services, on products, on anything? Whether it's, if they're taking more public transportation, maybe you want a sign on the side of a bus. And then looking at who you can partner with to help offset any costs, since I know costs can be an extremely difficult thing to overcome. And so kind of moving on from there, we're going to go into our guest presenters. So first up, we have Kelly Warnock from Durham County in North Carolina, and she's going to talk some about the Durham's Double Bucks program. And so Kelly, go ahead and take it away.
Great, thank you. So just to give you a background, if you've never been to Durham, it has about 300,000 residents, and there's about 40,000 people that receive SNAP. So Duke is located here. There's a lot of research here, but then it also has a large low-income population. We have about 4 farmers markets, and 2 of them accept SNAP and participate in this program, Double Bucks. And the numbers that I'm going to be using in the presentation today are mostly from the market that's downtown and central. It's called the Durham Farmers Market. So let's see if I can get it to go to the next slide. There we go. Durham Farmers Market is a producer-only market. It has about 70 vendors. Like I said, it's located downtown in an urban park, and it's highly successful. There's about over $1 million of product is sold in the market every year. Before 2014, the customers were primarily white and upper middle class or upper class. But we know that about 6,000 SNAP households live within 3 miles of the farmers market. And most of a farmers market's customers are going to come from that 3-mile radius. So this is the radius around the farmers market, and then there's the green star in the middle, and that's the farmers market. This area is changing quickly. It's gentrifying and becoming very wealthy, so we are seeing some change in this map. And we're also seeing a reduced number of customers using SNAP at our farmers market. So that's just something to think about. I don't have a solution to that, but just as cities are, the wealth is going back into the city, that the farmers markets may change with their SNAP participation. So to give you a history of Double Bucks, in 2012, North Carolina received a community transformation grant, and then at the same time, the Durham Farmers Market wanted to start accepting EBT. So it was just this perfect collaboration, because I was told to work with the farmers markets and increase access to them, and they wanted to do it. So in spring 2013, we started working together, and by spring 2014, they started accepting EBT. And by that summer, the 2 markets started the Double Bucks program. We waited until we had enough money, so we knew that the program wouldn't stop and start, because we knew that could kill the program if a reputation started that we may have it or we may not. In about 1 year, the SNAP Double Bucks brought in over $10,000 in sale in the Durham Farmers Market alone. And during the peak season, we had about 30 to 40 customers per week using SNAP and EBT. Summer 2015, we added WIC farmers market vouchers to the double box. So for every $4 WIC coupon, they get $2 to double, $2 added on. And then in 2016, we added the senior farmer market vouchers. And that not only is great for WIC, but it also is a great way to advertise for us the double box program. Because when customers come in with that WIC voucher, we can tell them about double box, that they can keep coming back if they have SNAP. So during the planning phase, we had a lot of pushback from county and city officials, community partners, local universities, saying that SNAP recipients were not going to be interested in shopping at the farmers market because it was primarily a white high-end market. And so to combat this and gain support, we really concentrated on not only marketing the program to SNAP recipients, but also we spent a lot of time promoting it among our partners and officials. So this is a fact sheet that we have, and we update it annually, and you can see it just gives the amount of money that SNAP is bringing into the community. It shows the number of people using it. It has some quotes from customers, just to kind of stop or change that stigma of SNAP recipients aren't interested in shopping at places like farmers markets. The markets have also done a lot of creative fundraising efforts, and I bring this up because it's also really helped with marketing. We do have local grants from foundations, but they also did a large crowdsourcing campaign, which that got the word out about the program through the community. They also have events at the markets. So there is you see a bingo board up on top, or a board with a lot of numbers and chickens. They had a chicken poop bingo, if you believe it. They sold little bags of feed, and they had chickens out, and people bought bingo boards, and wherever the chickens pooped, they marked that off on their cards. People loved it. The media were all over it, so it was a great marketing tool. They've had community dinners. They also have an on-site ATM in this park that $1.50 goes to the Farmers Market Double Bucks program every time they use it. So, and people use it all week long. So they can, or they used to, when the markets needed a lot more money, there was a sign on it that said, supporting or using this ATM supports Double Bucks. So again, it gets that word out there about the program. And then the Durham Crop Walk supports the program as well every year, which thousands of people walk in the Durham Crop Walk. So again, it just gets that word out there. So more specific marketing efforts we've done. We have used Facebook, and we had some paid Facebook ads that we've used that can target certain Facebook users, and you get to choose what the demographics are that you want the ad, who you want to see the ads. Like I said, we try to get earned media every year to just keep the program out there in the media. We use a lot of word of mouth with our partners. We send out the flyers continuously, and those one-pagers also, and ask our partners to pass them out to all of their clients because we can't be everywhere. And that includes, we have a large SNAP Ed grant in the schools, and so the elementary schools that we're in, all the folders get a flyer in it about the program. Faith-based organizations, the Y, Parks and Rec, all those types of organizations help us spread the word. And then WIC with the double WIC, and then in the SNAP offices, we can put flyers. They don't advertise the farmers markets. They're not allowed to, but they can have just like a flyer or in their office about the program, but they can't specifically hand it out as they're talking to clients. And then we try to reach out to medical clinics and dentists as well, so they can hand it out to people. We have been on the radio, and we have a regular radio show right now with a nutritionist, and she's able to promote the Double Bucks program. And then we have bus ads, which one of them is right on the screen. when we first started accepting SNAP. So this ran in all of our the buses that run in Durham. And then we did a direct mailer, which I'll talk about in a moment. These are some other of our bus ads. We've learned that we talk to our clients a lot and our customers and try to get some feedback on all the marketing materials we use, and people say they want to see fruit. So at least in Durham, that's what they want to see, and that's actually more of the EBT sales are spent on fruit at the market. This is a flyer that we've passed out broadly. Again, we did we got some feedback, and people said they actually want to see money on a picture and not vegetables. So we have changed this to show a picture of a hand going with money, and then we've had more fruit in our pictures recently. And then this is our direct mailer that we used. We sent this to all households that received SNAP because we were able to do that at the time, and it was by far our most successful piece of marketing material. But if you can't do that, or if you don't have the money to send it to everybody, or if the addresses, you can't access them, what you could do is, if you remember that map of Durham, you could take a 3-mile radius or whatever lower income neighborhood where you know a lot of people are accepting SNAP, and that was just from the census, or receiving SNAP or SNAP eligible. That was just from the census, and so you could take that and target that area. And you can use a SNAP Ed grant that we have at the health department and prorate. So say 50% of the people that live in that zone receive SNAP or are SNAP eligible, we can charge the grant 50% of the costs of the mailer. So that by far was our most successful marketing effort to date. And you see it says bring this in for a free reusable grocery bag. And so we had, it was amazing the uptick the week after it went out of people coming in with the postcard. And we gave the bags to everybody, whether they brought in the bags or the postcard or not. So that's what we have done to date. It's a fun program to be part of. Here's my contact information, and all of this, because we are working on a SNAP grant, it's all public domain. So if you want me to share any of the materials, I'm more than happy to.
Great, thank you, Kelly. There are so far 3 questions. If you have a question for Kelly, please put it in the chat box and we will go through them. So Kelly, the first question that we have is, do you put any kind of limit per person per day on the match amount you do for the Double Bucks program? And this is from Sarah. I'm going to butcher your last name, so I'm not even going to try.
Yeah, we'd use $10 per day at the market as a cap. Hopefully we'll be able to go up at some point, but we just want to ensure that the program won't go away. And we are just working with local funding sources at this time.
Great. Sarah, if you have any follow-ups, just go ahead and put that in the chat box as well. Our next question is from Mary Kay, and she would like to know, what is earned media?
Earned media is like if you write a press release and you the press come to your event, or sometimes we'd almost for our local paper, I can almost write an article and they'll print it word for word because it helps them fill their paper. And so it's media that you get that you don't pay for.
Great. And then our next question, how are you able to access addresses of SNAP recipients?
I knew I'd get that question. We used to, because we work actually in the same building as our SNAP, the SNAP office, we used to be able to, we didn't access the addresses, but we'd use the same mailing company that they used, and we're no longer allowed to do that just because it's kind of a breach of confidentiality, I guess. So that's why now we'll just look at that radius and target the 3-mile zip code around the farmers markets.
Which goes great into our next question of, why do you use a 3-mile radius zone for marketing? Is this zone based off of something?
So yes, that's all the training. So when we were working with CTG, we had a lot of training on farmers markets, and that's what we were told, that most markets, people will come from a 3-mile radius. So we do have people that will drive longer, but the majority of your customers are going to come from that radius.
Great. How do you use census data to find SNAP clients?
I had an epidemiologist do that for me, but I think you can. I think you can target in the census in the. I think it's American. Let me look. American Community Survey. I believe you can go into more zip codes and neighborhoods. But there was actually an epidemiologist who did that for us. And so again, if you work with your university or students, a lot of times they can be able to do that for you.
Great. And then with regards to flyers, do you give people incentives when they show up at the market with those flyers?
We did, because we had a grant. So it's always nice to do it, but it definitely hasn't been necessary. When we first started Double Bucks, there were actually customers that were buying the market manager's danishes with their Double Bucks because they were so happy they had the program and they were so thankful. So, I mean, it's nice, but it's not totally necessary if you don't have the resources.
And that goes great into the next question, which is how is Double Bucks funded?
We, so again, going back to that slide with the marketing, all the different marketing efforts, we decided not to go for the big grants because we wanted a lot of flexibility in what we did. And at the time when we started it, we couldn't, if we used like a Finney grant, we couldn't double anything but fruits and vegetables, and we didn't want that barrier. And so we just go for local grants. Duke has provided some grants. Actually, the health department has provided some funding. And then there's Burt's Bees, which does a lot of skincare. They're located in Durham, and they've provided funding. And then the Crop Walk provides funding every year. And then the startup, we just did that we did an Indiegogo campaign, or I couldn't be part of it, but the market did, and raised close to $10,000 in a couple of weeks.
Wow, that's amazing. So then our next question is from Megan, and how did you track what people use their EBT to purchase? What did that tracking process look like?
We talk to vendors. So that's a lot of just word of mouth and talking to vendors and figuring out. We have a survey that we do with vendors every year and just asking, do people shop with EBT, and then what do they typically purchase? So that's a lot of just quantitative data. We do track who is shopping and if people repeat shopping at the market by writing down the last 4 digits of their EBT card when they shop. And that way we can kind of see if people are repeat shoppers. And so we have some customers that have come like 40 times or like every week practically.
Wow. And so this will be our last question for right now. We will come back to these questions as well as more for our next presenter. So our last question for right now is from Megan. What is the best way to approach local health departments about becoming a supporter of SNAP at markets?
I would find out so we have a large nutrition division so we're obviously interested, but I would just try to find someone who knows someone at the health department and approach them. I mean, I honestly was scared to go to the farmers markets because I didn't know if they'd be interested, so that stopped me. So I think people, especially now, and knowing the importance of food and food access, people will be a lot more willing to work with you than you think they are. I don't know. I would just, try to find someone who knows someone first, but I just wouldn't hesitate to reach out to a nutrition division or a health educator if there is one.
Great. So that's what we have time for right now for questions for Kelly. Thank you so much, Kelly. This has been wonderful. There are still a few more questions for her, and what we will do, if we don't get to come back to them, I will take all of these questions, I will send them to Kelly, and if she's okay with it, answer them, and I will include those answers in the follow-up email.
Yeah, that's fine.
Perfect. So our next presenter is Danielle from Fresh Approach in Santa Clara County in California. So Danielle, go ahead and take it away.
Great, thank you. So Fresh Approach is a nonprofit organization, and we were founded by a farmers market association to do some outreach in the community and nutrition education. And what I'm going to be talking about today is a project that we did in partnership with the Public Health Department in Santa Clara County, which is in the South Bay area, with San Jose being the largest city in that county. So the vision of Fresh Approach is we envision healthy communities where all people have access to fresh, healthy food from California farmers. So we're trying to promote local farmers and food systems change in addition to more healthy food access for our communities. And this fit really well with what the Public Health Department is trying to do. And they also are striving to create more healthy communities that promote equity and optimal health. So Fresh Approach has a few different programs. We do nutrition education classes. We do food access work with a mobile farmers market truck that takes produce from local farmers to areas that don't have a farmers market or other access. And we do food equity work, which is our promotion of WIC, SNAP, and Market Match. Market Match is a program in California very similar to the Double Bucks. It matches SNAP benefits dollar for dollar up to $10. So for this project, like I mentioned, we partnered with the Santa Clara County Department of Public Health, and the Public Health Department had received a pitch grant, and Fresh Approach contracted with them on implementation of that grant. We also partnered with the Pacific Coast Farmers Market Association, which is our partner organization, to promote their farmers markets. And we also partnered with Impact, which is a data analysis group, and they helped with some of the results that I will be sharing a little bit later. So the goals of the project were to increase healthy food access in Santa Clara County, and we did that by promoting SNAP use at some target farmers markets. Overall, we wanted to address barriers that SNAP users were facing to shop at farmers markets. We wanted to increase awareness about SNAP use at farmers markets and about the Market Match program. And we wanted to see an increase in actual use of SNAP and Market Match. So in order to do this, we first did a needs assessment to assess what the barriers were in Santa Clara County. So there's 1.9 million adults in Santa Clara County, and 116,000 of those are low-income households. 31% of low-income households are food insecure. And we also found that 46% of households that are eligible for SNAP based on their income are enrolled, so less than half. The Public Health Department did some focus groups to look into the barriers to shopping at farmers markets, and some of the top barriers that they found were a lack of awareness about using SNAP at farmers markets, that you could even do that. 67% were not aware that they could use SNAP at a farmer's market, and even more than that, 88% didn't know about the Market Match program that would double their money. They also identified language barriers and a lack of knowledge about how to use SNAP at the farmer's markets. They found that there was a perception that farmers markets are more expensive, and for some, the distance to the farmer's market was a barrier. For those that did use SNAP at farmers markets, we asked if they had experienced any difficulties the first time. In a majority, almost 69%, didn't have any difficulties, which is great. But there were, some people that did, and the top barriers we were seeing was that they didn't know how exactly to use their EBT card at the farmer's market, and for some folks they were unclear whether it was accepted or not. And again, the language barrier came up here. So for our goals of addressing the barriers, we designed specific marketing and promotion techniques that would address each of the barriers that were identified through those focus groups. So some of our strategies were to improve signage in the market so that it was very clear that EBT was accepted, to have all of our materials be in multiple languages to address that language barrier. We created simple step-by-step instructions and graphics on how to use EBT at the farmers market, since that was identified as a barrier, and kind of directing people that they needed to go to the info booth first. We advertised the market schedule and location, since many people reported they didn't know where the market was or what times. And we provided coupon incentives to help with the perceived higher cost of shopping at a farmer's market. And we also, in promoting SNAP, did a lot of cross-promotion with the market match program, because again, this really helps reduce the price issue. So on the left here, we have an A-frame that we would display at all of the target markets for this project. Very clear, stating that we accept CalFresh, which is California's SNAP program, EBT. It's a little small, but you can see we have like a 1, 2, 3 stepwise process for how it works. The first is a picture of someone sliding their EBT card, and then you receive PCFMA markets use paper vouchers for the SNAP money and market match money, and then you can shop with those paper vouchers. So we had these A-frames set up in the markets, and then on the right is the picture of a poster that we would display on the vendors' stalls, so that anyone walking around the farmers market can very easily see that we accept EBT, and again, the simple steps of how to use it. And this helps address any issues of customers trying to use their actual EBT card with a vendor. So I know that that has come up, and you know, there may be the issue of the vendor saying that, oh, we can't accept the card. So just connecting those dots and making sure that people know that they need to go to the info booth first and get the vouchers to be able to use SNAP. We also improved some of the banners that are displayed either right outside or over the entrance to the farmers market. Instead of just announcing that there is a market, very clear language that EBT is accepted. We also found it very helpful to have a picture of what the EBT card looks like, so that, because there's a lot of names you can use, you could call it SNAP or CalFresh or EBT or food stamps, and so we wanted to make sure it was very clear and that anyone who saw this sign knew what we were referring to. So we included a picture and had all these signs in multiple languages. So we identified through our focus groups that in this particular area, the languages that we needed were Vietnamese and Spanish. So we've included those languages in all of the materials that we developed. On the left here is the $3 coupon, and these we partnered with Social Services Department to directly mail these to CalFresh enrolled households. So they all receive this $3 coupon for Carrot Cash, which is a paper voucher that we use at markets that people can spend just like cash. We also use this coupon to promote the market match program and to let people know about that, know about using their EBT card at farmers markets and that it will be matched, and gave them the extra incentive to show up for the first time. And in addition, we distributed lists of all of the farmers markets in Santa Clara County that accept SNAP and indicated which ones are participating in the market match program. And this was a great opportunity to partner with other farmers market organizations A lot of times farmers markets have their own flyers of their market information, but to make it easier for customers and shoppers, we wanted to have all the farmers markets on one flyer. We also did bus advertisements. So we had an ad on the back of buses. This year we designed an ad to be placed in the bus shelters. And we did a lot of print and radio ads as well in Spanish and Vietnamese. And we did social media ads. We had Facebook paid ads. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. And so the results that we were able to see after this comprehensive promotional effort was there was an increase in awareness about SNAP at farmers markets, and we were able to see an increase in SNAP use. So here's a graph of the media impressions. The outdoor bus ads reached the greatest number of people just because those are open to the general community, and this wasn't specifically targeted. However, it complements all of the other promotions. So we had mailers sent directly to SNAP households, which was directly targeting that low-income population. But then we wanted to also increase awareness in the general community so that it just kind of becomes common knowledge that this is something that exists. The social media ads were quite successful. We had almost 1.5 million viewings on social media, and then a 4% click-through rate on those ads, which is actually quite good. We found that there was an 11% increase in awareness of SNAP and market match exception, and a 58% of market shoppers recalled hearing or seeing the campaign messages. So that wasn't just SNAP participants, that was just anyone shopping at the market, just showing that we were able to get the word out to the broader community as well. So anyone who brought in one of those $3 coupons took a survey, and so we were able to gather some information from those surveys. And this really shows that we were reaching our target population, because 67% reported not knowing that the market accepted SNAP, and 69% were SNAP recipients. So we were trying to reach SNAP recipients who were unaware of this program and increase their awareness. And so it looks like that's what we were able to do. We had a coupon redemption rate of 3.6, so 3.6% of everyone who received a coupon brought it back. And the industry standard is just around 1%, so this is actually quite a high redemption rate. And we were surprised to find that 75% of the coupons redeemed were distributed by community partners, and 25% were the ones that were mailed through social services. So in addition to directly mailing coupons to SNAP enrolled households, we also gave a whole bunch to partners in the community and had them distributed to the populations that they serve, targeting, institutions that are serving low-income populations. And so we actually found that distributing these coupons through partners was much more effective than directly mailing them to SNAP enrolled households. And 80% of those who redeemed the coupon who were new to the market would not have shopped at the market without the coupon. So we found that this, even though it's $3, it's a small incentive, but it was huge in getting people to the market for the first time. And then we also wanted to measure the actual SNAP and market match use. And so this graph, the dark maroon, is the amount of SNAP distributed, and the lighter pink is the amount of market match distributed. And you can see from 2014 to 2015, it increased a little bit, and then into 2016, when the project really took off, there was a pretty drastic increase. So we saw 108% increase in SNAP distributions, 190% increase in the number of SNAP shoppers patroning the market, and that was overall over $82,000 more spent on SNAP and Market Match. This graph shows the amount of SNAP and Market Match dollars spent at Santa Clara County farmers markets, which is the red lines, compared to our farmers markets in other counties, which is the gray line. And it's the market day total. So it's a little small on the screen here, but way on the left is 2011. And so you can see before the project started, 2011, 2012, 2013, Santa Clara County, the red line, is showing similar patterns and is even a little below the gray line, which is the average of our other markets. But then when the project really kicks off in mid-2015 and into 2016, you see this huge spike in Santa Clara County. Amount of SNAP distributed really soars way over what the other counties are seeing. And so we can attribute that to the start of our promotional efforts in the county. So some main lessons learned is that we did see an increase in purchase of fruits and vegetables with SNAP dollars and Market Match dollars, and that was a result from reducing our barriers and conducting this large outreach and promotional efforts. Partnerships were really essential to getting the word out. Our coupon incentives were probably the most effective strategy used, and this was especially true when they were distributed by our partners. Some of the partners that had the most effective, most redeemed coupons were libraries, WIC clinics, a paratransit, and the food bank. So those were some of our best partners for that particular purpose. Text reminders, we were able to get text reminders sent out by social services to all SNAP enrolled households, and that was promising. A lot of people came to the market and were showing their phones to the market manager saying, oh, I just got this and found out about the program. So that was a promising strategy, and we also tried to have people subscribe to do a text subscription to get notifications, and not very many people did that, so that was not as effective. But just sending out the reminders a couple times was very effective. Digital promotion with the Facebook ads was effective, although one of the more expensive interventions. And just overall, the project was able to increase spending at farmers markets. Great. So that is an overview of our project. I'm happy to share my contact information and answer any questions.
Great, thank you, Danielle. So we do have a lot of questions, and just a reminder to everyone to please put your questions in the chat box, and if we do not get to them, I will be sending all these questions to the presenters and having them answer it, and I will include that in the follow-up email. So our first question is from Mary Kay, and she would like to know, where did you get the large sturdy signs? Did you call them A-frames?
Yes, the large sturdy signs are A-frames. Since we partner with the Farmers Market Association, and we were actually able to order frames like that with the farmers markets. We order those regularly to display and let everyone know that the farmers market is happening, and I'm not entirely sure what company they purchased from. Yeah, but I could get back to you for that follow-up email on where exactly we're able to purchase those, if you're interested.
Great. And then our next question, is Carrot Cash different from earned Market Match dollars? And can you explain how Carrot Cash works?
Yes, they are different. We have a lot of different forms of paper script that we use, and it just really helps with our tracking purposes. So we have one script that is specifically for SNAP money, and a slightly different script that's for the Market Match. And for the Market Match program, that can just be used on fruits and vegetables. Carrot Cash is another type of script that we use for other like coupons and promotions. So we track it separately. The reason why it's a different script, a different name, is so that we can track it separately for our accounting. And we use Carrot Cash for a few other things. Some of our nutrition education classes provide vouchers to the participants so that they can shop at the farmers market, and they're able to use the Carrot Cash. The Carrot Cash is used to redeem those vouchers as well. It's not specific for SNAP recipients either.
Great. Our next question is, were you able to get a discounted rate on the bus ads, and how did you pay for them? How long do they run?
So the bus ads were able to be done by the Public Health Department, and it was part of their budget in this pitch grant to run those ads. Looks like they ran for about a month, or our plan is to run for about a month this coming year, and have 50 interior ads. Yeah, and it was one of the parts of the budget that the Public Health Department was able to take responsibility for, which is really great. It was a really important partnership for us on this project.
And in Durham, I want to say we ran them in 52 buses, and there were 2 ads in each bus, which were in English and in Spanish. And the nice thing about these is if they don't sell another spot, they just stay up. So we tend to have to tell them to take them down at the end of the year. They're only supposed to stay up for 2 months, though, but they just stay up for a long time. And I think it costs $3,000 about. So it's actually a pretty cost-efficient way to spread the word.
Great. Our next question is, for the coupon survey and mailing, what was your funding source for this? Did you have a grant?
For the coupon survey. Yeah, so this was included in the pitch grant. So it was grant funded. We completed the surveys at the farmers market, kind of directly when someone showed up and redeemed their coupon. We asked them to complete a survey. And we were able to analyze the results of that survey through our partnership with Impact, who did a lot of our data analysis. So yes, it was included in the pitch grant, which funded all of these promotional activities.
Great. And this actually might be considered a follow-up for that from someone else, though, is would you be willing to share the survey questions you asked people so that it could possibly be utilized at other markets?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I would need to check with our partners at the Public Health Department to make sure that that is okay, but I don't see why not. Yeah, I think that would be a great idea to share what we've used.
Great. And then our last question for right now, and just as a reminder for everyone else, if we did not get to your question, we will get the answer and include it in the follow-up email. So for our last question is, do you have any data on SNAP customer retention? How many people came back after a first SNAP visit inspired by the coupon?
Yeah, that's a great question, since I know we saw a lot of first-time shoppers because of the coupon, but to see if they were retained. And I think that is something that Impact did not analyze, so I don't have it all together, but that is information that we have collected and would be really interesting to look into in the future. We have just started the third and final year of this project, so promotional efforts have just started in May for this year, and we'll be collecting another round of data. And so for their final analysis, I think it would be really interesting to see how many customers are retained after that initial coupon use. We do track unique shoppers, and market managers write down the last 4 digits of the EBT card usually to track new and returning customers. So it is something that we would have the capacity to look into.
for us in Durham, it's about 50% come back after their first time, which actually it sounds like it'd be low, but that's what you expect at a farmer's market in general because, you know, it's not going to be for everybody.
That sounds amazing, Kelly. That sounds extremely high. So just for everyone on the webinar, this slide includes all of the contact information for the presenters as well as the Snap at Farmers Market FNS headquarters team. Please feel free to email any of us any questions you have, whether it's about Snap and Farmers Markets, whether it's about this webinar, whether it's about future webinars, anything you have a question on, we will try our hardest to answer them. A follow-up email with the recording as well as all these unanswered questions will be coming. And we hope you all enjoyed this webinar and learned something. And thank you so much to Danielle and Kelly for agreeing to come and share your wisdom with us. We really appreciate it, and it was a lovely webinar. So thank you, everyone. I will leave this up for a little bit. So if you can get these emails down and look forward to that follow-up email. Thank you.
Thanks.